This is TaraLee Live, and we are live at 5, coming to you with an amazing guest panel tonight. Oh my gosh. We have JR Tokin in the house and High Live Today, which are my regular friends that are always here with me and partners in crime, right, guys? And then I've got MaryJane coming back on, GI MaryJane, guys, and she has just been in a rally. So she is here to update us with what she's got going on. What's up, girl?
Hey, good to see you guys again. Yeah, I just got back from Toledo for a Walk for Change rally. I know I talked about the Walk for Change last time I was here, but there are dozens of amazing grassroots organizations right now moving the proverbial pieces on the chessboard to prepare for a grand demonstration walk across America, Forrest Gump style, next year, LA to DC, where we're going to demand our freedom again, because it's disgusting. 1,800 arrests every single day in this country for nonviolent possession. Something's got to give. So I just got back from a rally in Toledo. I'm heading out in 2 weeks for another one in LA, and there's rallies. People are sick of it. They're tired of it. I don't want to go political, but the elections last night proved a lot and confirmed that people, they're starting to speak out. So I'm feeling good about this walk. And the rally was very heartwarming. I mean, got to get together with a whole lot of great people. Helen and Peter Yeeple, who head up the Human Solution International traveling chapter. They're the ones responsible for this entire walk idea, and huge shout out to them for all the hard work they're doing. How have you guys been?
Heck yeah, we've been doing well. Oh my gosh, JR Tokin with cannabis. Oh my God, they've hit like 10,000 subscribers now. Can you believe that? How many you got, JR? What's the update on that? Let's hear an update.
We're right around 13,000. We had some new updates come through. I think I mentioned a little bit where that was going to happen. So we moved the direct message icon or button, you would say, to the top. Hold on just a second.
Oh, granddaughters, aren't they awesome? I just love it though. He's so active in his grandkids' life. This is cool. Go ahead, JR.
The granddaughters. Yeah.
So we moved the feature for your direct messages to the home feed. So you can, when you go through your feeds, you can see if someone hits you with a direct message right up top. And then you would go to your activities at the bottom like you used to, but it's activities only. We had some other things, but we just hit over, I think we're at 13,000 users now. And we've got a bunch of promotional material we put together. Roz and Ryan was one of our winners on cannabis. Joe Dirt threw a...
Oh, yeah. Wait, JR. So JR, like for people who are just coming on, let's talk about that. We had a Halloween party last Thursday where GI MaryJane jumped on as she was headed out in the airport. And then JR gave away some seeds. And so this is what you're updating us on right now, JR?
No, actually, I was talking about... it was a giveaway that Joe Dirt did for...
Oh, another giveaway. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about your updated giveaway.
No, but I will update people on that here in just a second. But he gave away bubble bags out of his own pocket just as a show of appreciation for cannabis. He ran a 4-day contest, and he announced the winner was Roz and Ryan, so he won the bags. That was exciting. Everybody was really happy and to be able to enter the contest and have that kind of going on in the community. And while we're talking about winners, I wanted to announce the winners of the seed giveaway for the Halloween party that we had. First of all, we had the false teeth, and that was won by Hunter. And if I'm not mistaken, Hunter was in Australia, so that's another package that went to Australia that night. And then we had Ned Denver. He won the raw genetics of the Toast Brulee. He's really excited about that. Mass Canna Collective, they won the Homegrown Natural Wonders That was a good giveaway. Love that one. And then Killer Bee's Garden, they won the Cherry Springer. So we had 4 winners that night. Everybody got their stuff mailed out on Monday. So if you haven't gotten it, it should be to you soon. Except for Hunter in Australia. I don't know.
Well, I'm guessing the people that know that they live in Australia, it's going to take a little bit longer. I totally guess that. So, hey, Hi, what are you puffing on tonight? Let's talk to chit chat to Hi. How are you? What's going on with Hi tonight? As she just took a dab probably, and now I ask her how she's doing. See, this is what happens every time.
I'm good. I'm just I'm choking on a little Queen of Soul, my man here.
Oh, that's a good thing to choke on.
Oh, I love this. And you know, it's the I have a little. You've seen it. Where is it? It's in here. Let me pull her out. I've got my little dab pen that I carry around everywhere with me. This is one of my life-saving tools. So I went to load it up this afternoon, and I realized how pretty. I realized how goopy and disgusting it was, so I cleaned it. And as I was smoking it later on, I realized, wow, this rosin tastes really good. And I realized that, geez, I really hadn't been tasting it because it was so cruddy in here. Anyway, I still love my little pen.
It happens. When I'm behaving myself, I will alcohol my pipes and like rotate them every week or two. But I mean, come on, girls, like life gets in the way. You know?
Exactly. Like, I'll rinse it out. I'll just put water in it.
Exactly. Well, I'm going in with a dab of Super Lemon Haze because, you know, it's all my favorite. I got to have a nice dab of this to get the show going. Would you guys all like to share what you're doing tonight?
I am smoking on some Chem 4. I'm finally officially a patient, which means I paid the man his just dues in Colorado. So that allows me to access bigger buds that are still super over dried because this market's just, but hey, it's Chem and my belly loves anything Chem. So I'm as happy as I can be, I guess. I'm hitting California in like 2 weeks here, so I'm excited to sample their market. I haven't been to Cali in about a year now, so it'll be good to get back for sure.
When you go to the Cali market, shop around and make sure you go to a reputable place because otherwise you're going to get charged overpriced for some not as good weed. So do your homework about where you're going. It's definitely will pay in dividends. Are you going to LA?
Yeah, I'm going to LA, actually Huntington Beach in particular. So
nice. Yeah.
A little bit nicer weather than Colorado. I don't know if it's a good time to share, but I'm going to the Rocking Liberty fundraiser, which is a punk rock fundraising event for a presidential nominee, quite possibly, for the Libertarian Party. I'm going to officially make the public announcement then, but GI MaryJane is going to endorse this person, and we're going to head up the Stoners for Kokesh coalition. So I have finally, found somebody who wants to take that office and end prohibition day one. I mean, all it takes is signing an executive order. Any seated president since day one of prohibition could have made the public case the case that there's a public safety issue, which there is with 1,800 arrests and people dying every day, and sign the order. I don't know if you guys just heard in the news, the Kingpin, great activist, longtime activist, just died in his prison cell on a sentence for cannabis. So it's real. People aren't just getting locked up; they're dying. It's time for a change.
Well, I also heard actually on the news, was it Oklahoma? They just released like hundreds of
500
inmates that were there for like non-criminal
nonviolent offenses.
Nonviolent offenses of criminal. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about that one. You know what? While I'm happy that these people have regained their freedom, some of them have been there for 10, 20 years. And I mean, they don't even understand how to send an email. And now they're being reintroduced into a society where I hope they have programs in place for everybody. It's just, we all know government and how lax.
Seriously, programs like you know, okay, I'm not gonna go negative.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to stay positive here, you know, but I really hope these people don't get roped back into the system that they just got released from because there's no help for them. I mean, it's like throwing. We'll stay hopeful.
Well, let's hope and let's pass on the good vibes and hopefully we can at least connect and help them out and someone can.
If we send the positive energy out into the world, Mel, maybe it'll come back.
Absolutely.
We can only hope.
The one thing these guys do have, though, that they didn't have before is their freedom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, they have an opportunity now to get out of that hellhole that prison is, you know. And I know, like, for a lot of the prison systems, especially like for California and on the West Coast, you don't get a choice. You have to join up with your race. And if they tell you you got to do work, you got to put in work. And if your paperwork isn't clean, then they're going to fuck you up the day you walk in there. So you better hope you don't have any weird beating your wife charges or, God forbid, any sex charges, because you're going to get fucking whacked, guaranteed. And so the prison system is a very, very serious case. And I think you brought up a point that just because you go there doesn't mean you're just going to be, you know, stuck in a cell. No, you're going to be with a bunch of savages who are looking to fuck you up if you don't do things the way they want you to. And it's very, very dangerous place to be. And it sucks that nonviolent offenders have to go through this. And I personally, when I started growing cannabis with my family, I made sure I got every firearm there was in my house out, because back in the day, that was like an extra 10 years. You know, so
they're still doing that. They're painting out people to be criminals. You know, they catch them growing 4 plants. They label it as a marijuana bust. They deploy a SWAT team that costs $1,500 worth of taxpayer money an hour to stop somebody who's growing 3 plants. And then because they have a firearm in their nightstand, which, you know, we're allowed to have as Americans, it's one of the things we actually can legally have, the media paints them out to be criminals. It's absolutely insane what they're doing to people. It's the piling on of charges. It's almost like placing a ransom on you, because once they pile on 15, 20 charges and you're sitting on 50 or 60 years, of course you're going to take the plea deal and plead guilty, even if you didn't do it. There was a story of some guy, God, it was weeks ago, I forget the state. He left the food bank with like a Tupperware container full of powdered milk that the food bank gave him. I guess they had a big thing of powdered milk and they separated it up into little containers and they passed it out to the people at the food bank that day. Somehow he got stopped on his bicycle for a traffic infraction. Really not sure how that happens. And he got charged with cocaine possession, thrown in jail. He pled guilty. And he pled guilty because of all the charges on top of him. It was the best thing. He would have been out in a year. He knew it was their word against his. And thankfully, his public defender put in for a rediscovery and a reevaluation or lab tests. And they found out it was powdered milk. This guy did about 5 months in jail over powdered milk. So you have to imagine how many other people that's happened to, and their public defender didn't do anything about it. You know, you're talking.
Well, let alone to go in there to begin with.
We just lost her.
Oh, we lost her. Jane, we lost your volume.
I can't hear you.
G.I. Jane, we lost your volume. I don't know if we're having problems. We're having technical difficulties.
Back some.
I think we've got a bad internet connection. You might have to reconnect.
All right, let me hang up and call you guys right back.
Okay, pause the show, everyone. Let's say hello to chat. Who do we got out in chat land out there? We have Shaggy, what's up? Cobra, Kondo, Green, what's up? Ja, how are you, Ja? What's up? How's everybody doing? LB, Mason, ready. Big Red, what's up?
Live chat. I don't want top chat. I want live. Why does it
Stony Baker, mama. What's up, everybody? How are we doing? What's everybody smoking on out there?
Who we got? Who we got? Who we got? Cannabis for cancer. Seed. Shaggy 420. MaryJane Zorro. Ready to hit hot fire. How cold is it in Saskatchewan? So I don't know about you guys, but it's winter coming now. Finally, we're supposed to be getting some snow here out in eastern Canada. It's supposed to be snowing overnight, so I don't have my snow tires on yet. So it's going to be one of those mornings where I know everybody is going to be in the same position, and traffic is going to be horrendous. So I'm setting my alarm clock for an hour earlier than I normally get up. I think. What you got there, JR?
I do a jar of hash.
Aw, just a little jar of hash.
I totally was talking to you guys and I was unmuted the whole time, or most of the
Sweet.
time.
That's great.
I'm like, here's GI MaryJane back. Do we got her back?
No.
Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still a
Awesome.
little. You still.
We're
lagging
hearing
a
an
little.
echo. I'm hearing an echo.
Hmm.
You
You
have
guys hear an
YouTube on?
echo?
You have dial-up internet or?
No, I'm supposed to have the fastest, most reliable.
Oh yeah.
How about now? Am I still
Yeah, you're
echoing?
good.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you're-
That's good.
I think we're good.
Let's try back on the phone. Let's try the other device.
Okay. That might come in better. Yeah, it is really glitching out tonight. Ah, bummer. These internet
Got
connections. Yeah, internet's not coming in good tonight. I think you might even be glitched for a sec there. I think you sound like you came in and out for a little bit on here. I don't know.
Well, it's possible. It's
You've got your mic clear up on your head. That's half your problem.
sorry.
There you
Forgot
go.
about the mic.
I'm like, wait a sec, your mic's on your head.
I can't drink with it, so I move it to drink and then I forget to put it back down.
Oh my gosh. So anyways, well, I'll give you guys a little grow update. I have an orange tree behind me, if you haven't noticed. And I get to pick my oranges. I get to actually pick the first orange ever that I've ever picked in Washington State and eat it. Actually, I picked this up at Home Depot, this tree, and it's been out in the yard all year. And so I brought it in, and now it gets to sit in the house, and now I get to eat oranges. It's really cool. You guys ever bought an orange tree?
Can't grow oranges here.
Well, nor can I, Hi. You can grow it on your porch, thanks to Home Depot.
Yeah, I
That's
guess
how
you
I
can,
did it.
for us up here in the Northwest, I guess we can do Meyer lemons too. They finish in time and do well.
Well, I remember my mother-in-law had grown a lemon tree from seed, but she grew it in the house. She did put it outside in the summertime when it was, not too much, because we get really hot sun. And she got lemons, but like just teeny weeny, and it was just basically skin. Like there was no real juice to it. But
Well,
it was nice. You could smell it though.
Hi, I have
Yeah.
a lemon tree too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I picked up a lemon tree and an orange tree this year. So it's the first ones I'm growing. The oranges are actually right before the lemons, and the lemons were actually showed before the oranges. So it's really been odd paying attention to what actually gets ripe and what doesn't. This one just happens to be a sweet navel orange, and it says in parentheses Washington. So if anybody's asking, I saw someone ask online there.
Oh.
Okay, well there we got GI back. How are you, GI MaryJane? Are you back?
I'm good if I'm back. Can you hear me?
Much better. Yes, you're coming in good. Woo! We're ready to rock and roll now.
I had to play the old switcheroo with the devices. These things happen.
So girl, you're going political on us. Wow. So is this something new for you? Like, let's talk about it. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm so not the political person. Like the idea of politics just makes me want to pull my hair out. I can't stand it. The whole red, blue, left, right, green, orange thing. I can't just stop. I'm tired of it. But I finally come across somebody, Adam Kokesh, and he's been running a podcast and a web series called Adam versus the Man for a long time. Whose views fall right in line with mine, and in fact, his whole platform is to lower the size of government and get it back down to where we want it to be. And the whole idea of the two-party system just completely, collapsing it, for lack of a better word. And Mary
Well,
Jane.
seriously, think of it. When you have two parties, it creates competition, period. Just period. Like you're never going to get along. That's two teams. It doesn't work.
No,
Listen. They know that is called, it's the oldest trick in the book. It's called divide and conquer.
Exactly.
What you do is you make a little bit of divisiveness between each side so they feel opposed to each other. And so they're against each other. And in the meantime, you're voting legislation and you're running the system exactly how you want to run it, because you got these dumbasses that are so occupied bickering over stupid shit that in the meantime, you're just running the fucking show and everybody's an economic slave. Thank you, I'm out.
Exactly. You're right. And it's been going on for generations now. They've been getting away with it, but we're in a different age now. Like these millennials, they have the internet. They have access to all the information, all of the facts, even the facts that they don't want us to see are still viewable. And then they also have a means to communicate with people who think differently. And instead of being face to face and there being a confrontation, they can actually talk it out. And I think what people are realizing is, look, there is no us versus them. There's no, the everything is trying to divide us, but who's trying to divide us? The same entity. And whether or not you or I agree, it doesn't matter. We got to take down this person that's trying to make us argue even more. And at the end of the day, that's what this generation is seeing. They're not going to get away with it anymore. They're just not. Time's up, guys.
Exactly, 100%. And you know what? Look at Donald Trump. I mean, like, I hate to bring up like politics because let's talk a little bit about it, because he would not have been elected, I believe, had it not been for internet. I don't want to talk about Trump. I want to talk like how he got, like, I really don't think had it not been for the internet today, he would have been elected.
I agree. And Obama got most of his votes in favor from the internet too. It's social media is a strong tool.
Huge.
It's over.
I think another person who's doing a good job with it is Bernie Sanders. He's putting out some pretty solid information. He's already told that that's the first thing he would do, is if he was enacted, would be to abolish prohibition on cannabis and lift the federal sanctions against it and allow for testing and research and study. So I think that progressive side is going to be pushing that issue quite a bit. And I know that the conservative side has now seen the actual money that can be made from cannabis. And so now they're going to be pushing for it. And so now that you have both sides pushing for legalization, it's going to be a scrap out to just see how long it takes for big business to move in and the whole fucking thing to be a shit show.
Yeah, but I think the quicker we get to that shit show, that commodity market, then you're going to have the Budweisers and the Coors Lights and the Natty Bows. And I can't wait. That needs to happen before our craft grows come out. Like eventually this crap we're getting in the dispensaries is going to be worth 5 cents a gram. However, people are still going to be paying $10-20 a gram for something that's grown by a small cultivator with love, with the proper genetics, all organic. So we'll get there. We'll absolutely get there.
Like you mentioned a little bit of numbers. Can I touch on numbers for a little bit? I was talking with Dutch Blooms last night. We had a little show we put on the regenerative show last night, guys. If you haven't watched, go back and watch it. Happy Days Farm was with us last night, and talking about the regenerative conference and talking about prices. Washington market's supposed to be creeping back up there. But for him to sell like a really nice quality bubble, say $50, right? If he has to sell it to the retail store, he makes $50 on that 1 gram. They get to mark it up like 3 times. It goes up like to $150. Just one person in the middle there.
It's
Like,
insane.
that's messed up. For a medical patient to be able to get a gram of nice hash, $150 just seems outrageous to me.
And that's why you're seeing the open market starting to bounce back. A lot of the people are getting hip to the fact that the dispensaries are not only overcharging and they're getting overtaxed, but their product is usually older and inferior to what they can get from their homie down the street, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of people here were connected with people prior to legalization. And so now they're starting to knock back on those doors like, hey, you know, what's up? And so that's allowed for some stabilization and some increase in the market, open market, you know.
Yeah, so when I was in Ohio, there's a medicinal market in Michigan. I visited that, obviously, since I was so close. And I've got to applaud them. They don't have any big commercial growers yet. From what I understand from the bud tender that I talked to, they're going to have that set up. They don't have it yet, but instead of holding up the patients like Maryland did, say, for 4 years, they passed the legislation and then they waited 4 years before people were able to access product. But they're sourcing from caregivers, which are home growers. And these guys have maintained the open market genetics. Yeah, I'm not going to call it black market anymore. It's the open market.
You know, in fact, that's exactly what they're saying in chat. And I like that they say it's a free market. It's the free market. Think about it. It is the free market. I love it. Great point, guys. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And it's these growers that have maintained. I found cheese, White Widow, original Bruce Banner, not Bruce Banner #4. And coming from somebody who has been a connoisseur for well over 20 years now, I'm showing my age. It was them. That's when it was cured properly and it was not over dried. And unfortunately, I guess Michigan's probably going to lose that market if they're going to open up those big commodity grows. But I'm glad somebody's holding on to the genetics. There's seed banks everywhere. And I'm confident that once that craft market opens up, we'll get that stuff back from the people who care.
Yeah, I think I went to the Oregon Retailers of Cannabis Association. It's basically a bunch of the recreational shop and farm owners that get together and have a meeting. And I was invited to go. So I went there and they brought on this guy who was really instrumental in the legislation of recreational cannabis in the state of Oregon. And I asked the guy, you know, because I asked him, you know, I'm here about growers' rights. And when you guys passed recreational, you decided to make it to where the home growers or the medical growers could no longer bring their product to the market. And that basically cut us all out. We were the ones who built this market. Everything was built on our backs. And now we can't bring our cannabis to the market. Is that ever going to change? And of course, like a politician, he said, oh, yeah, it can change. All you got to do is get a committee together, get enough signatures, get, you know, all that monkey bullshit that, you know, really isn't probably going to happen now that we have legalization. It's going to be very difficult to get signatures and stuff like that to make those changes. And if, from his attitude, it doesn't seem like it's going to change internally. So it is what it is, you know.
That's like most states. Once you get recreational laws, it knocks any bills having to do with cannabis down to low priority. And they never, even if you get the signatures, they never make it through sessions. They just sit there on the shelf waiting and collecting dust. And people don't think that there's a big deal. But like I said, people are dying. I mean, literally dying. And if not directly from the effects, like the kingpin who just died in jail, indirectly, you know, and instead of,
Or they can't get their medicine. They're dying because they can't get their medicine.
they
Everybody,
can't get their medicine. Or how many people are on probation and they know that, you know, the coke will be out of their system in 3 days, and the weed's not. I'm not demonizing the guy who wants to do coke either, but he's more likely to get fentanyl instead and accidentally overdose because there's no regulation on that market for these people. The black market, the laws, that is what's causing the death and destruction. It's prohibition that is causing the issue, and it's time that it stops. I mean, the statistics are there. There's no arguing anymore, especially with the Reagan tapes that just got released as to why he revamped the whole drug war thing. That's insane. Purely racist. You could make a drinking game off of how many M-bombs that guy dropped in his emails, or not emails, his letters and his conversations. And we're still doing this? It's insane to me.
So, hey, just to throw it out there, like, maybe I'm not totally caught up on the political stuff. Maybe you should catch me up on some of this stuff, and maybe some of our listeners aren't.
Yeah, well, I mean, prohibition was started, 1937 is when the Marijuana Tax Act was passed. And that's when everybody had to stop growing. Prior to that, there was hemp farms all over the place. They were just as common as tobacco. They were on the reservations. The indigenous people was using it. The farmers down south were using it. And they said no. And then what happened? They brought in cotton. And the cotton industry came from overseas. It was cheaper, and, you know, just like anything else political, somebody had some money to gain from it. So they demonized the hemp plant in order for cotton to come in, which we now know takes up entirely too much space, takes too long to grow, makes just bad footprints on our environment. And right now, in the age of Greenpeace, there's no excuse for that. And they demonized it. And then they went even further. Because the Mexican community utilized cannabis more than the European settlers at the time, you know, not settlers in 1937, you know, but your average white guy, right? So they demonized that. So they wanted everybody to think that the evil Mexicans were doing this bad drug and they were going to rape your women and hurt your children. And then they went ahead, they threw the black community in there too. And fun fact, activism actually started in the jazz clubs on the music venue scene, because it was the jazz musicians, the black community, that was most negatively affected by this. Shoot, what's his name? I'm not high enough to remember, but there was a jazz musician. The day they enacted prohibition, they went and arrested his wife, basically held his wife hostage, trying to strong arm this man. So prohibition's been used as a tool.
Well, first of all, you need to correct the fact that you're not high enough. We need to smoke a little bit more, because we're supposed to be getting high, and it's after 4:20, and we all should be getting high. But JR, go ahead. You have a good point.
Yeah, I think the guy's name that you're referring to is Louis Armstrong.
Yes.
And he blew cannabis smoke through his trumpet when he played. And he was against prohibition from the gate, and it was people like him.
Seriously, I didn't know that about Louis Armstrong. I loved Louis Armstrong.
Most jazz musicians, most of musicians back in the day, and they're all known for using cannabis. It's a form of, it helps release their talent, their inspirations come. I know for myself, for the music that I do, when I'm high, I have more imagination. I have more, you get more into it. It's just, it's a different feeling. So a lot of those jazz musicians, when you saw that the clouds of smoke on stage, well, that's what it was. It wasn't tobacco smoke. It was cannabis. And yeah, it was, then they locked it behind the, oops.
Wrong. Yeah. And I mean, cannabis is huge in the art community for, you know, any dancers, musicians, writers, because yes, it allows you to relax enough to let that artistic, you know, vibe flow through you. The flow.
Exactly. Yes.
And you know what other kind of community has got onto that is a sports community. A lot of athletes are now finding themselves able to get into a zone and to get into a rhythm or access a relaxedness that they maybe
Yeah,
didn't
but
have.
then they fail the drug test and they get thrown off the team. So
Well, the Canadian Football League allows cannabis now. Is that correct?
I'm
Yeah,
not
I think
I'm not sure. I'm Canadian. I'll have to investigate that.
the
Oh.
NBA here is like a don't ask, don't tell. I don't think that they piss test those guys. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, and it's a mess too, because for those guys, they're getting concussions, and cannabis is known for being able to treat and prevent
Yes.
the growing of traumatic brain injuries. Me, I've had 6 concussions on record, no traumatic brain injuries to date, and that's from somebody. I've had 38 stitches in my head.
Oh my God.
I don't want to laugh about it, but I'm pretty sure it's the only reason I'm talking to you guys right now is because I've been a pothead my whole life. I don't think that I'd be okay otherwise, you know. And
you know what though, you're pointing that out, and you know what, I can't tell you how many people that I have met traveling around to all these things that everybody sees me go to say the exact same words you're saying right now. They all say it. It's because of this plant, because of how I've been consuming it, because I've been growing the right medicine for me, because I like all in different ways, but the same exact thing every time. If it's not for this plant right now, I can tell you, I probably wouldn't be here today.
I truly believe that. And I know
I do.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
I'll tell you my story. I had stage 2 cancer in my colon. And when my surgeon went in there, he said it was so large that the tumor was so large that it completely enclosed my colon. And he told me bedside that there's no way that you're not going to have chemo and radiation. And so they did a pathology report on this tumor, and it was stage 2. I did not have to have chemo or radiation. And I know it was because I was orally consuming cannabis that it kept it from spreading through my body. It kept that tumor contained to a size that was so large that they thought for sure that it would have spread through my body and that I would have stage 3 or 4. When they did the pathology report and found out that it was only stage 2, he said he was amazed. He said he was amazed. So I have my personal story, whether it's fact or not, it's my story, you know.
You're here to tell it. And a lot of people aren't, that have been through something similar or even less than what you described, that haven't been able to utilize cannabis, you know. It's
No, I know for myself, I was noticing it this morning, especially this time of year, the weather's getting colder. 2 years ago, I would try to go down the front stairs and first thing in the morning, it was hard for me. I would have to hang onto the railing and, make sure I was well balanced, my purse on one arm and my lunchbox, Now I basically run down the stairs in the morning. And the only thing that's changed since then is I'm a regular cannabis smoker now. I don't take Tylenol anymore. I don't take any more painkillers for my aching joints and stuff. Yeah, I still have back pain. That is something that no amount of cannabis is going to cure, but it's not nearly as bad as it can be, because I just know when I haven't had my medicine, it's worse. So yeah, it's for me, it's been a lifesaver, because I wouldn't be going up and down the stairs. I wouldn't be able to function. I don't really have a physical job, but I do some physical things like carry boxes, and I'm not getting the kids to do it for me. I still got 2 arms and 2 legs. I'm still bloody well do my own work.
Well, hi, thanks for bringing up a good point there about, you still have the ache in your back. There's still that pain. Cannabis is not going to get rid of those really deep aches in most people. So if someone's really looking to get rid of that, don't go to cannabis and expect that it didn't work. And that's another thing that I think is you need to try it in different ways, and you need to try different elevations. Just because it works for somebody else over here, or just because this amount worked for somebody here, doesn't mean that you might not need a larger amount. Women, I am finding women that have some that need to get off the psychiatric freaking meds that they put us on them sometimes. I really find need a lot more of the dabs. Everybody that I'm, kind of talking to women wise, some of them are really needing those dabs. And I don't want people to be afraid not to try them because it looks like crack, or, you got to get a torch out. So get an email, get, something that's dabbable, get a portable dab rig like High's got right there. I'm here for education, and when I come about these points, I just have to shout them out and tell everybody. So sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No, yeah,
Well,
you're right. There's so many different ways to consume, and people don't know that, and they don't want to smoke. And a lot of people don't realize that you can. I mean, Christ, some states, the only thing available is flour. You can't get edibles, or you can't get, they don't have an open market. And one thing that no market has yet, that kills me as somebody who has a ton of GI issues, that, by the way, no doctor has been able to pinpoint, because everything's teetering right on the edge of being really bad. Again, probably because I've been smoking cannabis my whole life and have been warding it off, right? But the whole plant, like I want to go buy pot leaves, like I buy kale leaves, and I find great relief in that. There's so many other ways to utilize this plant.
Dude, did you hear, like in Washington State, it was like an hour and a half for me. There's a farm that was growing pot leaves for lettuce, for salads, and they got busted. They broke in before their harvest. They hadn't even harvested yet. They were just getting ready. It was hemp. It was even hemp. It was industrial. It was like the whole hemp licensed, and they were totally licensed and everything. They got busted.
Well,
Broke in the door. Huge lawsuit. That's going to happen. But I'm telling you, this shit's stupid.
They just released the new regulatory guidelines around hemp under the Farm Bill, and the government just destroyed the entire CBD market. They're not testing THC anymore. They're testing for THCA. I'm not a scientist. I don't know the difference. I'm not going to claim to, but if you ask
so what the difference is, actually that does make sense. And this is why I'm going to tell you. Because when the plant grows, it actually grows THCA.
Right.
And when that A is dropped off, that's like you're decarboxylating it. That's when your body can consume it. So they were actually testing THC. They were looking for THC. Well, the plant doesn't actually derive THC. The plant actually derives THCA. So that's why they're getting in trouble for all these tests. That's why I'm telling you, it's so messed up. There's people in Kentucky that had to plow under their hemp because it tested too high with THC. Oh my gosh.
And from what I read, now you have to send in samples 3 weeks before your harvest off of the top of your plant. And now your plant's dead. So it's science, guys. I mean, it's stuff, like I said, I'm no scientist, but it takes me 10 minutes of due diligence on the internet to figure out things. It's all right there. There's no excuse for our regulators not to be looking into this. And either they're stupid or they're intentionally trying to sabotage an entire market and thousands of small businesses all over the country. And if that's the case, what would our ancestors do? Right? You got to ask yourself. It's a shame.
Well, I don't know so much about what's going on in the States, but I know here where I live, it's legal in Canada, yes. But where I live in Quebec, they just passed another law changing the laws. So you are no longer allowed to smoke or vape in any public place whatsoever.
Okay, yeah.
So I want to go sit in the park.
So you get to do exactly that's exactly our laws in Washington.
That's how it is everywhere in the States.
Yep.
There's no
just joined the good old US of A, huh? So much for your freedom in Canada.
Which is insane. I should be
Federally,
able to smoke
you guys are federally legal, and here they're fucking with your rights.
You should be able to smoke anywhere you can smoke a cigarette. It should be no different.
Exactly. We have signs. No smoking within 9 meters of the front door.
Fine, right? But
and the way they portray, because now they've got advertising on television for this and whatever. I happened to see one this evening. It's something about anyway, cannabis and smoking cannabis and how it affects secondhand smoke, for people that are in your house or whatever. And of course, they have to show the guy who's smoking as a real stoner looking guy, like, dreads and beard and scruggy looking. Like, they can't just show someone like me sitting having a joint in my living room, because that's not a reality, right? There's no women that look like me who sit around smoking joints in their living room. But there's a guy with dreadlocks and a scruggy beard who's sitting smoking a joint in front of his pregnant wife.
They're still demonizing it.
Exactly. They're not showing the real face of cannabis. Yes, you've got those guys. Sure, you've got the dreads and whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you've also got, you, me, and everybody else who just looks like your regular guy walking down the street.
Yeah, actually, and that's I'm excited to be heading up this presidential nominees campaign, the Stoners for Kokesh. We were discussing social media campaigns, little videos, little vines, and I explained just that, how important it is when you make the Stoners for Kokesh vine to depict everybody. Everybody. Yes. I mean, the little girl with seizures taking her RSO, to the college kid partying after he gets out of football practice, to the little old lady at bingo. And because cannabis is legitimately, just like lettuce or vitamin C or any other natural supplement, something that everybody uses. Period.
Absolutely.
We need to stop categorizing people by what they put in their body. I mean, give me a break. We just
we could almost call it a nutritional supplement. I mean, really, at this point, my body freaking needs it. And if you're going through cancer, you should be taking RSO. Look at JR. I've seen it work. This is the problem. JR, are you okay, by the way?
He's listening.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think he's on his RSO.
He's looking so handsome tonight, isn't he?
I love the new hat. You look hot there, man. Look at 3 women on the panel telling y'all look hot.
Wow.
Thanks, ladies. I appreciate it. I try to look good. I think it's like the Rastafarians say that cannabis is for nutritional, medicinal, and spiritual reasons. And how you use cannabis in your life is up to you. You may not want to have it for psychoactive effects. You may want it for nutritional reasons. Hemp seed oil has more omega shit than any other oil there is out there. Oh, yeah. Very healthy stuff for you. So there's reasons, so they say, for the reasons I use it is for nutritional, medicinal, and spiritual reasons. And I don't know, I think that that's something that everybody's kind of waking up to, all generations, from our seniors to our youngsters. When I went to the dispensary, I don't go to dispensaries that often, but I went there to drop off some promotional material for cannabis. And I was standing in line, I saw I was the youngest person in a 5-person line. I was the youngest person. And that made me feel really good. I mean, because we got some of those baby boomers on board. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And your buddy who's looking for social media presence for promoting his campaign, I'm telling you, cannabis would be the place to do it. You got 13,000 people who would like to see it and hear his message. So I would invite somebody in his campaign to get on cannabis and start spreading the word.
Oh my God, that's a brilliant idea. Hell yeah. Look at you guys communicating tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get in touch right after the show, man. Adam loves reaching out to everybody. It's not and that's what's so wonderful. Like I said, I'm not a political person, but this is finally somebody who understands that Americans are Americans, and there are so many different kinds of us Americans, but we all have our own rights, and agree or disagree, we got to fight for them. And unfortunately, Adam is somebody who has been victim to the drug wars himself, and been caged over a plant. So definitely we'll get him on the show. Sure. Cool deal.
So tell us a little bit.
I knew JR had something to say. I was waiting for him to come in.
So tell us a little bit more about the rally and how the local law enforcement felt about it.
Well, I'm not sure if it was the local law enforcement so much as it was the owners of the property that we had leased out. So this property in Toledo was this old-fashioned hotel, really cool looking, kind of like, you know, Sinatra and Lucy era. And we were still setting up. There's about a little over a dozen people there. We were setting up food, doing sound checks. You know, and this was not going to be a big public demonstration. It was a rally to the definition of a rally where a bunch of actionable activists got together to network, and we were going to reach out and live cast. And no sooner did we get through mic check 2, but the officers came in and said, "Who's in charge?" So unfortunately, the building manager, who took the deposit and the payment, of course, handed over the key that day to the gentleman who booked it, said that they didn't want any illegal drug use in there, which we weren't using cannabis. The building has a no smoking policy. So it wasn't a thing that was going to happen. But of course, again, no laws were broken, but like anything, if the building manager doesn't want it, we have to abide by their rules. And nobody gave the cops a hard time. The cops didn't give us a hard time. We just moved somewhere else and kind of did it virtually, and it worked out. You can't silence the voices these days, not with social media. But yeah, it's unfortunate, and this happens all the time. Was it in September? I was in Michigan, and the dispensary that I visited while I was there was supposed to have an educational event, and just a little parking lot boothing party, you know, like anything else, little flea market style thing. And the police department came and shut them down, citing zoning issues. So it's even happening to the businesses. But the great thing is people aren't stopping, and people aren't getting violent and confrontational either. They're accepting the rules because, let's face it, there's ways around everything. There just is. And I'm glad to see people respecting other people's wishes, even if they don't agree with it. You know, I don't agree with the cops coming in and shutting us down. I don't agree with the building complex not doing it. But when they see us respectfully doing what they ask and complying when we're on their property or dealing with their things or doing anything that could affect them, that's going to make a difference in their heads. They're going to say, wait a minute, maybe these stoners aren't that bad after all. Because let's face it, we're not. So
I think we saw that with Hemp Fest and other really large events where they've got thousands and thousands of people. If these were alcohol-fueled events,
420 BC, dude. The people up there, I was there. That was huge.
Yeah, and no fights.
Smoke out every year on 420, and people have been gathering in mass in DC prior to any laws being placed. There's never been an issue where there's been a bunch of fights or violence or people misbehaving where they're smoking. It's just not a thing that happens.
Yeah, that's one thing about stoners. They're not going to get into a brawl. They're just going to chill. Like, seriously. But you get a whole...
They are going to get pissed if you don't let them smoke your joint, though.
Well, no,
but
have you ever...
smoke and we're cool.
Have you ever been to like a company picnic where everyone's drinking outside? And then next thing you know, you got people, rolling around on the ground, punching the lights out of each other.
That's insane. And it's socially acceptable and even expected for some people. I was at some business seminar years ago, where they tell you how to act so you can get ahead in your life. Bunch of nonsense. I can't believe people pay for this, and they do. Where the guy was saying that when you're dealing with executives and corporate level stuff, you're expected, if you don't have a drink, that it's frowned upon. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like a lot of
dude. You know what? That's how actually doing business with the Chinese is actually really big. Drinking the sake in Japanese as well, the sake. But I have a friend that's been with a lot of the. He used to travel all over, and he did even in Dubai. They lived there for a while. It's a big deal. Like, it's really important that he takes shots with people and that they partake of the best wines and the best of all of this. It's just crazy how alcohol is such a big, okay thing in all this world. But by damn, don't you have a joint?
It's even in our industry, like a lot of the trade shows that they have, like the Indo Expo and the larger BizCons and stuff like that. A lot of those guys do those booths during the day, and then at night they get together and party, and that's when all the real deals go down. So as a sales rep, you know that it's your job to sit there at that booth all day and then party all night. That's your job, because that's where the deals are being made. And I tell you, when those guys do a 5-day session at BizCon, it wipes you the fuck out. Wipes you out.
Yeah. But that's just not, it's sad that it's went into the cannabis world, I would have to say, because I see it in the ag world, big ag. I'm talking Syngenta, Bayer, all these people, all these corporations. I've been there. I've sit across from those booths and I see them bring all their money and flex to all their people in the bars. They're not even at their booth. They have a booth that says all their big titles and everything. And they're not even at their booth because they're hungover. They're at the bar. They stay out at the titty bar all night. You know, they're out throwing money at these guys. And that's to get them to buy their fertilizer, their chemicals. That's really what it's about. It's gross.
It's really disgusting. And yeah, I just don't think the younger generation is going to put up with it. And they're not. They're unimpressed. And I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I've got to hop off here. I've got a civilian platoon 420 conference call to attend in 3 minutes here. So yeah, that is evolving, ever evolving. Platoon420.com. We're updating everybody on the drug war news as much as we can. And we beat the New York Post to a story. Now, granted, obviously, the New York Post got way more views than we did, but because of the platoon and because of people submitting reports on the website and communicating with each other in the Facebook groups, we found out about a shipment of hemp with its paperwork in line left Vermont, was approved by the police out there, sent in FedEx. When it got to New York, they instantly hit the papers saying we just busted a 106-pound marijuana ring, and it was this big. And it's hemp, and it wasn't even tested. And we were able to capture that story before any of the major media did. And I am so proud of our team of activists for that. And all it took was communication. And that's what people are capable of. So on to that next chapter, man. It's time.
Hey, before you step away, I want to tell you about Warfighter Hemp. It's an organization that sells CBD products to vets. 50% of all of their proceeds go to veterans charities. It's called warfighterhemp.com.
Awesome.
And the guy's name is Steve Danieluk, and he used to be a colonel in either the Army or the Marines. I don't know which one, but he is fighting on Capitol Hill right now for safe access for our vets to have CBD available to them. And like I said, it's called Warfighter Hemp. You can find it at warfighterhemp.com.
That's great. I bet he's working with the Veterans for Natural Rights group that's here in Colorado. There's a bunch of veterans groups. So I'm daughter of a first responder and veteran who lost his life to chemo. He had a pacemaker, he had cancer, he wanted to try cannabis, but would have lost his pension. My mother and I would have lost all of the benefits that, he would have when, inevitably he would have passed away eventually. And the chemo took out his pacemaker in his heart. The cancer didn't even have time to take him. So I really do appreciate anybody fighting for our veterans and first responders, because they are getting left out of this. And imagine if we could get these guys, especially these angry cops, off of their pills and onto cannabis. Just think about it. So, yeah.
Well, I want to extend definitely a warm heart out to you, and you're welcome to come on the panel anytime and update us. We're here every Wednesday. You are definitely welcome, girlfriend.
Awesome. I do love you guys. So we're family, man. There's this global family of, accepting, compassionate freedom lovers that is, thanks to the internet that we may get frustrated with so much, is finally able to assemble and communicate. So
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Nuts.
I look forward to taking up political information from you, because really I am done with politics. So now you're giving me a little new fire here. So thank you.
Yeah, man. I'm excited about the platform that Adam's running on. So I'll keep you guys updated with that.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Peace and love. I will see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Okay, take care. We'll see you.
Cheers. Bye.
Wow, what a great night, you guys, having her come by and get to update us on everything that's been going on. So inspiring.
Yeah, I know. It's nice that we have people like her on the front lines who are out there really doing the work.
Yeah.
She's putting in work for her people. And I appreciate that. I mean, I think our cannabis community is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And the tide is in. There's nothing they can do about it. They're not going to lock us all up in jail. They don't have enough fucking jails for us all.
Dude, they don't get it. Like, seriously, Washington State seriously did not think that they were even going to vote legally cannabis in, marijuana, pot, weed, whatever you want to call it, because they didn't have anything in place. They seriously thought they had time. Just like everything got out of control. They really didn't think Donald Trump was going to make it in there. It's all because of social media. Today, if you are not following Gary Vee and listening to Gary Vee, I'm sorry, you're going to be out of luck in the future. If you're not making a stance today, putting yourself out there somehow, some form in social media, and you're not willing to just risk it all, you're going to be left behind.
I think it's, especially now that other media sources are not as influential as they used to be. If you look at a lot of people, they select their media that they watch. Like I know friends who don't even watch TV, they just watch YouTube. And they just cast that YouTube up onto their television and they watch what they want to watch. And they can see just about anything. And, you know, Netflix and all that. Like, my kids don't even have a cable package anymore. They got Wi-Fi and a gamer and a
Honestly,
PlayStation. And
yeah,
they
I'm on YouTube all the time. Like my husband, like I record, there's probably like a handful of shows that I watch. And it's normally because I watch something with my husband. I try and watch something with my husband. And I watched a handful of shows that are just for me. They're kind of just, they turn my head off and I don't have to think and I can just, you know, they kind of off gas.
Yeah.
And so like, they're just stupid shows. Like but I really don't have to have the TV. I can get them online. I don't really like I'm seriously thinking, why did we go with this big package? And why did we, you know, we have all these 3 things in each room and that's just my husband and I, and like, there's $100 bill we could cut out. You know, think about it.
100. Ours is over $200 a month.
Well, actually, I don't know what ours is. I didn't want to say how much it was. I really don't. It's 100 and something, I would say. Really? Yours is 200?
Well, we have like, because we have the internet.
And that's Canada money.
Yeah, we have the internet and we have our what else is it? Our television. So cable. So we have the 2 things, and they're sort of, and you have to have certain packages. You can't just pick whatever channels you want. So anyway, I'd like to just get rid of the whole thing, but.
Yeah, you know, Wi-Fi, I think, is the only thing you really need nowadays. I'm trying to get my wife to buy onto that. I mean, because you buy a PlayStation 4 or some kind of gaming console, Xbox.
Exactly.
And that costs you about, you know, $400 or whatever. But you're going to save that money in like 3 or 4 months because you're just going to be streaming off your Wi-Fi. You're going to be watching what you want to watch. Maybe pay $12 and get a Netflix account. You know how much shit there is to watch?
Yeah, I know. We already have that.
Like, but see, it's like, okay, so like if you're watching like a lot of those reality shows, which like I watch like the one that the gold digging ones. That one, the Discovery Channel. Like we watch, that's what channel my husband really likes to watch.
Discovery, yeah, that's fun.
The Gold Rush? Gold Rush? Is that one? Yeah, Gold Rush. So we got caught up in that one a long time ago. We started watching the Gold Rush thing because I'm into rock hounding, right? Or because obviously y'all saw me up there getting petrified wood. So we're rock hounders. But so I watched that Gold Rush thing. And if you really look at it, you like really put on a freaking GoPro and you could become your own national TV person there. Like that's what YouTube really is. Like,
Mhm.
I just see that like people on YouTube are just taking off. Like, and how cool is it to actually talk to them live and they actually get back to you versus these people on TV that are supposed to be these celebrities that you might meet someday that are assholes when you meet them anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how long that model is going to last. You know what I mean?
I
Because
don't know. When do you think it'll crumble? Wow.
my granddaughter, I would say, spends more time watching videos from YouTube than she does watching the Disney Channel. And these people, like you mentioned, some of these YouTube families are making children content for children. And I'm telling you, they've got millions and millions of subscribers.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
I mean, thousands. And
Live every day. I see that. Like if you look at the
Mhm.
live, because I like to see who's live because my TaraLee live, you know, I like lives. So I go on that live thing and I look and see who's live, and there's like millions of kids watching all those cartoons, and there's like things just for kids on here. That's obvious
Yeah.
because that's why they don't want pot, marijuana, weed, because of the Walt Disney atmosphere. Okay.
sure, we violate their community guidelines, is what they
This
say.
is why, because it is
I
for the
used-
kids, right? And it
I
is
used-
for learning.
I used to get butthurt about that because I thought, fuck you, I'm a part of your community. You shouldn't persecute me. But we sign up for that whenever we sign on to our account. I'm sure we don't read the little fine print.
Nobody reads that, dude. I went and read it one day. Like, I don't like to read. So first of all, me reading that shit, oh, fuck, it sucked. And I really read the rules because I was curious why people were getting deleted. Dude, nobody has, it's all for them. They can delete anybody at any chance. So if you're building a business on here and you think you're going to make money on this, there is no way, no how. Okay, first of all, I've owned a business, and there would be no way I would let YouTube have control of my business. When you start a channel, YouTube has complete control, day in, day out, and you sign on to that shit. So like, you've got to have a backup. If this is my hobby, this is fun. Like, I'm not planning on making money. I'm having fun with you guys. I'm taking you guys all with me out to these conferences. I'm not planning on making money here. So I'm out. I'm not like the rest of everybody else that thinks they're going to make money on YouTube.
And the other thing I think about our community in YouTube is that, they have made it clear. And so for people like the Dude Grow Show, that's our outlet. That's a huge part of it. We're a video podcast. That's a huge part of our outlet.
Like I said, I would never do business on YouTube. I would never let them have control of me.
We found ourselves in quite a position because the alternatives are not that great. We're not a huge fan of WeedTube. And Vimeo you have to pay money, so it's a paid subscription. And it's just, it's part of the reason why we started Cannabis, because they're the only game out there. And at some point, I would like it to where Cannabis could do half-hour videos, rather, because the workaround for that now is the live. So you can go live for as long as you want, and then it gets posted. But I would like it to where we could submit at least half-hour videos. That way, if you got a 1-hour podcast, you could drop it in 2 parts. Or if you were just a half-hour show or a half-hour interview, you could do a half-hour. I think that would be a good place to start. So we're working for that at some point. Right now, what's on the burner is the multi-picture uploads and chat during the live. We need to revamp our live. And we need to allow there to be a chat inside the live sessions. So those are the 2 things that we're working on now. And as you can see, as we're getting more popularity and as we're gaining strength, we're able to do more to upgrade the platform to where it's better and better as we keep moving forward. So, I really can't thank the people who have come on board early and stuck with it. We've had a lot of guys come on early, and because it wasn't popping right away, they kind of bounced. Didn't seem valuable to them, but there's been a core group of people who really stuck it out. And now the snowball is starting to roll. and the people are coming in, and the people are coming in, and the community is growing bigger and bigger. And so now it's all about you. Your experience there is what you make it. It can be as big as you want it to be. You can ask all 13,000 people to be your friend.
JR, you got big fist bumps. You got DGC going on in there. You got Cobra. You got Purple Thumbs. You got Killer Bees. You got Cobra out there 442. They're all like fist bumping. So I wanted you to get that from a chat because you don't get to see chat. So
thanks.
They're all cheering you on.
I appreciate you out there, everyone. Thank you, and I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
You have some huge supporters, dude. They show up here. They're not here to see me. They're here to see you, man. You're the man of the house here.
That's not true. That's not true, Tara.
Seriously, like dude, you're awesome. Like you've been behind the scenes far too long. Like it's time for you to shine. And like, dude, you do so much shit for the community. It's time for you to shine. Seriously.
Well, everything I do for the community has been given back to me tenfold. I've not had to go without. I've got people in this community that take me places. They buy me lunch. I'm not a rich man. I live on Social Security disability. I'm not rich, you know. I've experienced.
And that's so good for you to say, because, you know, a lot of people don't hear about what good that the DGC is doing. Right? They're not hearing about all this good stuff. They're helping you out. Someone that's disabled, someone that really wouldn't have the opportunity to travel to these events and meet. Look at us. I mean, thank God.
Yeah, Duke Gross takes very good care of me, and the DGC is so strong, and our purpose is to educate and elevate each other. You know, we've got to be there for each other to see that everyone has the same kind of success. I mean, as soon as there's a new, and even on cannabis, as soon as there's a new grower who says, hey, I'm new at this, look at my plant, give me any tips you can, there's going to be 5, 6, 7 dudes on there with very solid advice to help you out. And so I think that's a valuable resource. And I appreciate those DGC members who have made that transition over there and really have people and answered questions and been there. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, and you know, that's another thing. Like, really, like since Hash Church, damn you, Bubble Man. I miss Hash Church. Like, I really miss the live chats. It's just somewhere to come and hang out and say hi. And that's why I'm doing lives. That's the only reason I'm doing these panels. And it's the only reason I'm doing this. It's because I really like lives. And I like to be able to have the camaraderie. And I believe that by doing a live is really the only way to build that community. That's how I see it.
I like the way you guys interact with the chat too. I think that's really cool because, you know, in this age of community and social media, people want to feel like they have a voice. They want to be acknowledged. They want to be known. And for us to shout out those guys and let them know that, hey, we know you're here and we're thinking of you. It's very empowering to our message and to our movement and to the things that we're trying to get across. I think that we're, you know, the TaraLee live show is evolving as we speak. And I can't wait to see how things do evolve for the TaraLee live show. I'm having a blast. I thought the Halloween,
Halloween, God. Dude. Where's my hat? Let me get my crown. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, if y'all didn't see it, look at, I have my wig even right here. My wig and my crown. Like this, there it is, guys. There's the crown, baby. We had so much fun that night. Oh my God, it was so much fun. I loved it.
That's
loved
right.
it.
And so now we're gonna have to have some kind of Christmas party, I imagine.
So speaking of which, we had so much fun, and Nash came in and told us all about the vapes, and oh my gosh, we had a blast that night. And thanks everybody for all showing up and all the support that night. It was so much fun. But we forgot to give away that the herbal vaporizer that was gifted to us from the X-Vape company. So between you, I, and Hi, we're gonna come up with an idea. I will let you guys know later what we come up with. That being said, we've been on just over an hour, and you know, I think it's time to kill this show and let y'all go your merry way, and you know, go out to your grow, Have a fantastic night. I really enjoyed chatting with you all. Thank you all for being here and hanging out. Hi, I had a great time. I hope you enjoyed the show. Would you like to say anything before we go?
Just be kind to one another. Stay safe out there. It's like I said, it's that time of year where the roads are getting icy. If it's cold in your part of the world, and just be safe. Be
Yes, don't be in a
responsible.
hurry.
Yeah,
Road rage. Woo.
Yeah,
Smoking
yeah.
toast.
Slow down. You know, I run into a lot of idiots on the road, and they just nowhere is that important to get to. So chill, man, just relax, have another talk.
Yeah, be kind to those who sometimes make it difficult to be kind to.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah.
That was a good one, JR. With that one, you go ahead and let us out. What would you like to say before we go, my man?
I would like to say be kind to those who it's hard to be kind to. It just makes you stronger. Don't let their energy take away from who you are and the joy that you have within you. Don't let other people rob you of that. No matter what circumstances you're in, find your own peace, find your own happiness.
Sorry.
Thank you.
That is awesome.
You're
Well,
welcome.
so well said, you guys. Oh, I just appreciate both of you guys. And I kind of started a new little tradition. I have a friend out there, Kathy, wherever you are. She'll probably be watching this tomorrow morning. So thank you, Miss Kathy. She says something that she likes to do when she's really having a hard time. And I'm going into this really icky, moody blues. Everything's dying around me outside and other things. And so like, one thing that if you just, how can you not put a smile on your face if you just sit there and think about one thing you're grateful for? So today I texted and I said on our Hangouts group that we have that I am grateful for for my health, and I'm grateful to be able to walk, and I'm grateful that this cannabis plant is making me get healthier daily. And you all see it. You can go back and watch my videos. I have gotten healthier. And I mean, and I feel it. I feel much stronger as an individual. I feel that I've grown humongous. And I'm going to continue. I love y'all. So thank you for the support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara.
Have a fantastic night, everyone.
Good night, all.
Bye.